Well, good morning. Good morning. It is 7:30 here in Seattle. Sun's coming up. Birds are out. How are you guys doing?
Great. Good morning. Like
Good
the
morning,
music.
Good
boss.
morning.
Morning,
Doing
boss.
great.
Stuart, is the music too loud right now?
You could probably lower it about 5 dB.
Thank you. All right.
That's my normal listening volume. Yeah,
Good.
there you go. Perfect.
All right. So can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes, I
All
can.
right.
Yes,
Well,
boss.
good morning, guys. Good morning. And I am excited to be here with you. Ran into a lot of technical challenges this morning. But the good news is that I've overcome those technical challenges just in time for you guys to be on time. So it's 7:30. We're going to get started right now, and I've got a power-packed presentation for you this morning that I've been working on over the weekend. And just to let you guys know, I'm here to support you guys to do more with your business, and I've learned that the more I can serve you guys, the more your business expands together.
Music's still too loud, boss.
Obviously,
Cat.
when we have, I heard you, chill out, relax, I got it. So
Thank you.
when we've got time to really put into your business, this is where we can really help and do some good work with you guys, and and that's kind of where I am in my life is I'm a servant, and I'm going to serve you guys, and I'm going to provide value for you guys. Now, we do this every day. We give away this information for free. There is no charge for this, and this creates the win-win situation for you guys, our agents, your mindset, my mindset, your skill set, my skill set, our agency. It's such a great culture and such a great environment just to give away all this information. So the truth is that I need you to buckle up for a strong session. Okay. I need you to really get prepared here. I'm going to give you a lot of truth here, and I'd like you to take a lot of notes. This is recorded, so you'll be able to watch this again. Um, but the truth is that it's time to make some adjustments. Okay, it's definitely time. And the business playbook from last year, you need to throw it out the window. Okay, whatever you were doing in the last few years, you need to stop that. It's time for a new playbook. All right, and the truth is that it is harder in this new economy to find ready to go clients, and you already know it, that the skills from years ago are not working now. All right, and many of us are really having trouble converting deals. Like, guys, in my position, I've got an interesting perspective because I can see all of your production. And I will tell you that across the board, all of your production is down, all of it. For everybody in the company, your production is down. There's not one person in our company that's doing more deals same time last year, not one. Okay, there's not one person doing more. So it's time to respect the craft at a higher level, and it's time to train harder. And look, guys, the truth is that this economy is different, and you've got to have a new playbook. All right, you've got to have a new playbook. So the good news is we've got a new game plan for you, and this is why I want you to take serious notes this morning. Okay. Now it's time for a new week, and we're going to get started with a new game plan on a new week. All right. So my goals for today, I want to hand you a lantern so you can see how easy this is. I want to give you a newer playbook so that you can convert referrals faster. Okay. Now, I've talked to a lot of agents last week. Last week, I made a lot of phone calls. I talked to a lot of partners. I asked them straight up, what is going on? Why aren't you converting this? And it's interesting. The interesting feedback is that they're having trouble converting because the sellers just don't want to move. The sellers have motivation, but they don't know what they're doing. It's like gridlock. Okay, it's like gridlock. So we're going to talk about that further. Now, the process of closing deals is really that you're going to have to make several tweaks in your business. And this is where I need you to be open-minded. I need you to put your ego in your pocket. Okay, I need you to put your ego in your pocket. All right. Who's down for that? Who's down to actually put your ego in your pocket and be open-minded right now?
I am.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay, good. Good. That's the first step. That's the first step in all of this. Is you're gonna have to be open-minded, and the faster you can open your mind and make the tweaks, the faster you're going to be more successful here. All right. So guys, I've got to remind you guys that we have an Ask Anything format set up for you guys that's intimate. There's usually only 3, 4, 5 people at 1 o'clock Pacific. That's 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern, where you can jump in and have a one-on-one with either me or Stuart and ask anything and really go through detailed questions, not in front of 70 people or 80 people, but it's ask anything every day. Okay. And that right there is pipelineopenoffice.com. So that's all you have to do is just go to the website pipelineopenoffice.com, and that will open Zoom. All right. So that's another resource for you. Now let's get into the details. All right. So the truth is, guys, after my assessment last week is that we're not following the plan. Okay, we're not following the plan. All right, so those of you who are following the plan are having some success. Those of you guys who are not following the plan are having zero success. Okay, and you've got to understand that selling is like a math problem. It can be done, it's a system, and you can actually automate it where not every client is a custom fit. I mean, I understand that people are different, houses are different, but the sales process is the same. Okay, just because this client has this special situation does not mean that they have a special sales situation or a special sales process. And that's what I kept running into last week, is that partners and agents were telling me that, well, they've got this situation, so I've got to do it this way. That's not true. That's not true. Okay. So the interesting thing is that you've got to have an open mind here that selling is a math formula. There is a step by step by step process that repeats on every client, on every single client. Okay. Now, again, clients are all going to be different. I get that. Houses are all going to be different. Some are big, some are small, some are old, some are new, some are bigger, some are small. Look, I get that. And some people are young and old, and I get that. But I'm talking about the sales process of how you close them is the same every time. Okay. And this was the common denominator that I found, that if you skip a step, you will not finish the math problem. And if you skip a step, they will relist with another company. They will you actually turn them off. This was the most interesting thing to me, which is we could have a motivated seller, and if you skip a step, you actually turn them off. Just like a light switch, you turn off the lights, you turn off their motivation. All right, now I want to ask you, if you skip a step in a proven sales formula, what do you think is going to happen? And of course, that's a rhetorical question, but I want you to seriously think about that if you skip a step in a proven sales system, what do you think is going to happen? It's magically going to close? I don't think so. So what's interesting about, me digging into a hot, motivated seller that just didn't list with us, it always went back to this, that the agent skipped a step. Now, my friend Stuart, why are agents skipping steps when there's motivated seller?
Good morning, Chad. They skip a step because they're not trained in this system. They've been doing it their way for a long, long time, and they're reluctant to change until they have enough, I call it pain, till they lose enough business where they have to do something. And so the 5-step listing process, the 5-step Mike Ferry listing process, is a proven plan. And invariably, when I talk to agents and they're having problems getting their deals closed or meeting with the client or whatever it is, I ask them, did you do step one? Did you do step? They always have skipped a step, invariably. So
Well,
that's,
this is the great thing is that it can be fixed. All right.
yep.
So let's look at this. So if you have a client and they're interested in buying or selling, this is your opportunity to win or lose. All right. This is your opportunity to win or lose that client. And if you win, then good for you. Celebrate. If you lose, something happened in the process and you and your family and your retirement account deserve to know where you skipped a step. You deserve to know. You got to ask yourself, what happened? They had motivation, now they don't. What happened? Bring that exact situation to our 1 o'clock open call and let's talk about it. Where did the process break down? What step did we skip? Where were we slow? Why did it take 5 days to get the pre-listing package out there? Why did you skip the step of sending the pre-listing package to begin with? What happened here? Really be honest with your business. Be honest with your family. Be honest with yourself. Use these exact situations to improve today, not tomorrow. This is the most probably out of the whole presentation, this is the most important sentence here is today, not next month, not next year, not next week, today. Improve your process and skills today, okay? Especially when you're getting live transfers. So we're gonna dig for it, all right? So if you miss closing the deal and it went cold, or they relisted with a competitor, and now magically they're waiting. This one here is the part that just drives me crazy, is that we find the motivation, and by the time it gets into your camp, all of a sudden now they're waiting. Okay, so something happened. Maybe you didn't tell them a convincing enough story. You know, Ron Connard has got really convincing stories. I think stories win. In fact, I think you've got to learn how to tell stronger stories. There's a book called Story Selling if you actually want to learn how to sell with stories. When you tell a stronger story that beats their story, you win. And this here is Ron Connard's, I would say after knowing Ron for 10 or more years, that right there is how Ron Connard is doing 100 deals a year. Right there. Ron, would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
When you can tell a stronger story that beats their story, that's how you win. All right. So you got to reprogram your client's mindset with a stronger story. Guys, this is called persuasion. And Ron, again, you are just so good at this. And you probably don't even know this.
Yeah,
Or
but
do
I
you
learned
know
it.
that?
I learned it right here on the Breakfast Club. Though all the stories I tell is stuff that we've already taught on the Breakfast Club. I learned it right here.
Well, I appreciate that. And I mean, we did it together. So I'm not going to take credit for that, but we're going to take credit together. But again, going back to just you're a very strong storyteller, very strong storyteller. And so you're reprogramming your clients' mindsets with your stronger story. Would you agree with that?
Yes, 100%. And when you talk about storytelling, we should probably elaborate. Like, for instance, one of the things that you, or I should say that we have learned here on the Breakfast Club is how to turn things around to have people see things from a different perspective. For instance, when people say that they're going to lose, that they have to reduce their price by $70,000 to $100,000 to sell their home, you can look at their records and see what they bought the house for and say, I understand that you're reducing your price by $100,000, but you see, you bought your home back in 2015 for XYZ. You're selling it for $230,000 more than what you paid for your home. Don't worry about what it's going to cost you to sell it. Worry about how much you're making. That's what's important. That's just
Exactly.
one of the
And
things.
right there, you know, the way that I'm framing that is you're reprogramming your client's mindset with a stronger story to win the listing. You know, and you're I mean, it's amazing what you can do with this. Now, I'm gonna get a little bit further into this, is that when I look at the best sales guys out there, they've got great stories. You can see top producers in your marketplace. I promise you, they have great stories to tell to take control of the situation. Okay. And you need to know that selling is story selling. It's a huge secret. Story selling. All right. So, example, what did you do differently? You've got to have a great story to tell. What do you do differently? We practice this all the time. Here's an example. So, Stuart Anderson, you know, what do you guys do differently?
Chad, I'm so glad you asked that question. We do things completely different here at Century 21. We aggressively pursue buyers. You know what I mean by that?
No. What does that mean?
Chad, we have a call center with 32 inside sales agents making over 4,000 outbound calls every day, Chad. That's all they do. It's a more aggressive approach and is designed to generate you multiple offers so you can negotiate the highest price for your property. We match our buyers with our sellers. So all we have to do tonight is get together at 4 or 6. Which works best for you, 4 or 6, Chad?
Right. So guys, you can call that sales. You can call that, you know, persuasion. You can call. I'm starting to call this a story. What you just told me was a little story. You know, sitting around the campfire with, you know, Grandpa Stewart. Grandpa Stewart just told everybody a little story. I mean, everybody used to have, you know, back in the day when you're a kid, everybody used to have that uncle or grandfather or grand uncle that used to tell great stories. Or was that just me?
I
Oh
had
You
that.
no.
guys have
Oh no.
somebody in your family that used to tell great stories?
Yep.
Yeah, that's who you need to become here. So will you lower your commission? You've got to have a great story to tell there. You know, what do you charge? You got to have a good story here. You know, we're going to interview another agent. Well, you better have a great story there too. They break down into 3 categories. Most importantly, it's about their motivation. So write this down. So the stories about 3 categories. The most important one is their motivation. And then those stories about the objections, you got to isolate these. And then the least important stories about you. All right. And most agents get this all backwards. They think that the most important story is about them. That's not true. Okay. So get the book Story Selling and listen to it over and over again. All right. And then the mathematical formula, you know, this was a big breakthrough for me over the weekend, is that the 5-step listing process is like this mathematical formula, and you just wrap the formula around with stories. So you've got to learn how to take that formula and then tell stories around the formula. And I hope that helps somebody on the call here that's more analytical like me. All right. And learn to tell the story. So I know what you're thinking, that this sounds easy. Yeah. Okay, look, this is going to take practice. Okay. It's just going to take practice. And if you have not practiced, you know, I was talking to I was talking to an agent, and they said, "Well, that's not my style. I don't, you know, I'm selling anything." And I answered her question. I said, "Are all of your deals coming from friends or family, or are all your deals coming from the general public?" And she goes, "Oh, I only work with referrals, friends and family." And I said, "So how many, um, how many people are in the general public compared to your friends and family? Are there more people out there that don't know you or that know you?" And she said, "Well, I only like to work with referrals." And I'm like, "Well, quite honestly, you just don't know how to sell. Because if you're only working with friends and family, That means you're a customer service representative. You're just taking orders. You're just filling out the paperwork. You're not selling. When you work with the general public is when you start selling. So you got to ask yourself, do you want to work with the general public or do you want to just work with friends and family? Or do you want to work with? Now, I hope that you say you want to work with both. And if you want to work with both, then you've got to learn how to sell. Period. End of conversation. Okay. There is no getting around it. If you want to work with the general population, you've got to learn how to sell. You have to. In fact, it says it on your real estate license. It says real estate salesperson right on your real estate license. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that it says real estate salesperson right on your license? Okay. So dig into the motivation, find out what people want, help them get it. Help them get it. Most sales are lost because the salesperson did not focus on the motivation deep enough. Ask a lot of questions, figure this out. I was coaching an agent last year who kept forgetting to ask about the motivation. I kept asking her, like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I just keep forgetting. I'm like, okay, you can't keep forgetting about this. You've got to focus on the motivation. All right. And if you ask superficially, you're not asking enough questions. So, they want to move to Florida. Why do you want to move to Florida? What's important down there? The beach? Get into the details. All right. Find out what they want and don't overcomplicate this. Just simply ask them what they want. This is how you get people to buy or sell with you, is through those relationships on the motivation. All right. All right. So a little bit more. So guys, we're going to wrap it up here with a couple more slides. I hope you're getting good value out of this. Here's what I want you to do is to build momentum. All right. And now we're going to get into actually like the doing part of this. All right. The doing part of this. The momentum comes with the skill of learning to dig in the motivation. All right. When they give you an objection, you've got to learn how to wrap that story around it. All right. And then master the 5-step listing process. All right. For the win. This is going to be a tough question for some of you. But how did a brand new licensee get 9 active listings in the last 9 weeks? How is it that a new licensee is growing his business faster? Seriously, ask yourself that. And here's the answer. Because he's doing only one thing every day, building momentum. And it's like a flywheel, and every day the wheel goes faster and faster and faster. Okay. Is he more coachable? Maybe. Is he more hungry? I doubt it. Is he more eager? I don't think so. It's because he's doing the work. Doing the work. The right activities, the right work. All right. So, guys, here is the formula. Okay. The formula is this easy. Is that we find a buyer or seller that's interested in doing a deal, and you pre-qualify them with lots of questions. All right. So you can serve them at the highest level. This is step 1 on the winning formula. Number 2, immediately add value by overnighting the pre-listing package. Okay. Don't show up with it. Don't email it. Stop emailing it. Stop showing up with it. All right. Call them back and see if they received it. Ask the magic questions. Reconfirm the appointment. Study hard on the comps. Drive the comps. Call to those listing agents on the comps. Really dig in and put the work in like you're going to make 10 grand. Like the work, like you're going to make a $15,000 paycheck. Dig in. Show up early for the appointment, and then it's showtime. The listing presentation is showtime. It is showtime, and guys, make no mistake, this is a job interview. This is a job interview. Show up mentally strong, walk through the pre-listing package, page by page by page, and take the listing. My friend Taylor Wolcott made $560,000 last year. 560. That's a lot of money. That's a Grand Centurion right here in our office. And I asked him, like, how did you do that? And he said, I walk through the pre-listing package page by page and I wear them out. I wear them out. I wear them out page by page by page, and then I take the listing. Okay, so I believe that you guys can follow this exact formula here. Now ask yourself, what steps do you need to work on? Which of these steps do you got to work on? And I'll start with you, Stuart. Which one of these steps do you got to work on?
Consistency, finding clients.
Number one. Okay. Ron, which one of these do you got to work on?
None of them, buddy. I can't keep up as it is.
All right. How about somebody else? Does somebody want to volunteer which one of these 5 steps they need to work on?
I would say consistency, right along with Stewart.
Number
Day in, day
one.
out. Yep. I would say consistency, Chad.
Number one. Good. Anybody else?
I would say listen, repeat, and tell a story.
Okay,
I
so
would
that's
say-
more number 5. Okay, number 5. Good.
Skills. Yeah.
This is Romy. I would say consistency and stopping.
Number 1.
hmm
Yeah, number 1. Yeah, so find a buyer or seller every day. Should probably put that in the slide every day that's interested in doing a deal. You know, guys, I look at this formula like almost like cooking in the kitchen. It's that simple. It's just, you know, making a meal is easy. It's just we got to do the work. And so thank you for that, Romy. Anybody else want to volunteer and maybe, you know, put it out there into the universe of what I need to get better at? What do I need to get better at on these 5 steps?
You know, Chad, just from my personal perspective, being as busy as I am right now, and it's ridiculous busy right now. It's like you said, you know, people really, you've got to change your mindset and become storytellers. When you're talking to the sellers, I would venture to say 80% of the sellers that I've spoke with over the last month never got any communication from their agent whatsoever. So you have to take the time to explain to them why you're different, what we do differently, how we can help them get their property sold, and be prepared for those objections. Well, I've got to reduce my price $70,000. Well, I understand that, but let me ask you real quick. You only paid $250 and you're selling it for $450. So even though you got to reduce your price a little bit, you're still picking up $200,000. Is that enticing? Well, yeah, absolutely. That's why we need to get together. So just prepared, like you know, be prepared, like you said, to be a storyteller, learn these objection handlers, and you know, just move forward.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. I want to tell you a quick story. Speaking of stories, is that I called an agent who has received 32 live transfers from us, and she's only met with 2 people. She's only met with 2 out of 34. And I called her and I said, you know, I'm not sure that this program is for either one of us here because you're below 10% on just simply meeting with clients. And I got to ask you, which one of these 5 steps are you skipping? And she's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, do you know the 5-step listing process? She's like, well, I do everything my way. And I said, well, you know, quite frankly, I'm not sure if we're going to be good partners because if you're stuck in your way and you're stuck in doing things your way, I mean, your results speak for themselves. They're not good. Your results are not good. In fact, I'm calling you because I can't afford you. I can't afford you. I can't afford to give you more business. I can't afford to give you more live transfers because you won't follow a winning formula. I mean, I've got agents that are at 50% meet rates. So if they get 32 live transfers, they're meeting with 16 homeowners. 50%. You're at 2 out of 32 live transfers. You've met with 2. I can't afford you. I said, in fact, I will bet you right now, I'll bet you $100 that you have never ever printed and overnighted a pre-listing package. She's like, what's a pre-listing package? I'm like, oh God, you know, giving me attitude. guys, you see what I have to deal with here. Okay. What I have to deal with here is just raging ego, raging egos. Guys, put your ego in your pocket and follow the formula. It's right there on the screen. I promise you, if you follow this formula, you will have success in real estate. And I can prove it because I got a brand new licensee who's taken 9 listings active by following this process. Okay. So now that we're going to wrap it up, I want to give you some resources. The first one is if you're rusty, you can always join our onboarding. All right. We start onboarding every Monday at 10:30 a.m. Okay. Every Monday, 10:30 a.m. It's right there. Welcome to onboarding.com, 10:30 a.m. Take a screenshot with that with your phone. Ask us anything every day, 1 p.m. pipelineopenoffice.com right there every day. All right. And then daily role play. We have 5 role plays every day that focus on building skills. Okay. And that's it, guys. I'd like to get your feedback on today's session. Please unmute your microphone and give me feedback. I would appreciate it.
I love the presentation. It was very informing. To be able to see it here is very informing, you know, Chad. And it's the same stuff that we talk about every single week, every single day, working on our skills, following the 5-step listing process. I love the format you presented this day. Good job.
Thank you. Anybody have feedback for me?
Same stuff every day.
Yeah. This is Romy. I will definitely say that you can't leave out one thing out of the formula. It's like trying to bake a cake without the flour. It just doesn't work. So I appreciate you, everything you do, and it works. I know it for a fact it works. Thank you.
You're welcome, Romy. And this is coming from a girl that made $500,000 in 6 months with us. So congratulations. I will always remember that. You made $500,000 in 6 months, and you go, why don't I take the rest of the year
Can't hear
off?
you very well.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
There
So
we go.
Romy made $500,000 in 6 months with us, like in 2018, and said, "Oh, I'm going to take the rest of the year off." And I said, "You got to be kidding me." She goes, "No, I'm going to take the rest of the year off." I'm like, "Well, first of all, congratulations to you." But I mean, I'm just so, it's so amazing that that this formula, Romy, is so powerful. It is so powerful. This formula is so powerful. So thank you for that. All right. Any last feedback at all? Anybody burning to unmute their microphone and give us feedback? We would appreciate it.
It's great clarity, Chad. Clarity gives you strength and power because you know the direction you're supposed to move. So way to lay it out very clear and plain and concise.
Thank you, Toddzilla. Thank you so much. All right, guys, it is 8 o'clock. I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful day. Start to the week.
Hey, I'm sorry, real quick. This is Michelle Huber in Georgia. Which storytelling book are you talking about? Is it the Dan Clark one? I'm Googling it and there's several.
Yeah, actually, there are several, and they're all good. So I would get them all. Okay, I would get them all. In fact, there's a lot of different ones, Michelle. There's actually storytelling, story selling, selling with stories. There's a lot of different books on this. I would get any of them. I would just get any of them and just start there. So good question. Good question. Thank you so much, guys. I want you to have a wonderful week. I hope this gives you some inspiration. I hope this gives you some drive into following the proven 5-step listing process that, again, is on your screen. So if you want to take a last-minute screenshot with your cell phone here, this is the winning formula for a brand new licensee who's taken 9 listings active in the last 9 weeks. All right. You guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Thank you again. Take care.
Thank you, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
Thank you.